A farmhouse kitchen in Vermont, rain on a metal roof, a man turns his faucet, and beneath the sink something hums. An LED strip glows under the cabinet, powered by a turbine the size of a fist inside his drain pipe. $1,500 a year. That is what your family pays the power company. By the end of this video, you will discover the one number your utility hopes you never calculate. Hi, I am Oliver, and welcome to Off-Grid Ohms. Subscribe and hit the bell for more uncovering electrical secrets. I did not drive to Vermont because of a research paper. I drove because of a photograph. A retired plumber in Washington County posted a picture to an off-grid forum showing 6 small turbines mounted on drain pipes in his basement. Each one was wired to a battery bank. The forum laughed. I drove 7 hours north to see for myself. What I found was not complicated. This man had a gravity-fed spring entering his house from a hillside roughly 40 feet above his foundation. The supply line held a small Pelton-style turbine no bigger than a coffee mug. Every drain line ran through a PVC T-fitting containing a miniature turbine runner connected to a brushless direct current motor working as a generator. Kitchen sink, bathroom sink, shower, washing machine, 6 turbines total wired in parallel through a charge controller to a 12-volt deep cycle battery in the basement. I placed my multimeter across the supply line turbine while he ran the kitchen faucet. The flow rate was roughly 0.15 liters per second through a 3/4 of an inch line. The turbine output read 6.8 watts. Small, but continuous for every second water moved through the pipe. The shower drain turbine registered 3.2 watts during active flow. His monitoring display showed the system had logged over 180 kilowatt hours in 14 months, more than enough to power every LED in the house and charge every device his family owns. He did not invent this. He learned the concept from a retired hydroelectric plant operator in the same county who had built a similar system in the 1990s using salvaged automotive alternator parts. The technique had circulated quietly among Vermont off-gridders for years. Nobody published it. Nobody patented it. Nobody told the power company. The physics behind what I measured in that basement did not originate in Vermont. The science has been proven across 4 continents and 20 centuries, and the industrial version is already running beneath a major American city right now. In the 2nd century AD outside Arles in southern France, Roman engineers built the Barbagal Mill Complex. 16 overshot water wheels in 2 parallel rows ran down a limestone hillside, fed by a stone aqueduct. Archaeologists estimate it milled enough grain to feed 12,500 people. Industrial hydropower, 1,700 years before the electric grid. Moving water spins a wheel. The wheel does work. That principle has never changed. In 1878, a carpenter named Lester Allen Pelton was working the California goldfields near Camptonville in Nevada County. He observed that a water jet striking the edge of a curved bucket transferred far more energy than one striking dead center. He built a split bucket impulse turbine and received United States patent number 233692 on October 26, 1880, efficiencies above 90%. That impulse principle is exactly what makes a turbine work inside a narrow residential pipe. In 1903, Australian engineer Anthony Michel patented a cross-flow turbine where water passes through the blades of a drum-shaped runner twice, once entering, once exiting. Hungarian professor Donat Bonki at the Budapest Technical University independently published a refined version around 1917. The German manufacturer Ausberger commercialized it in 1933 at their factory in Weissenburg, Bavaria. The cross-flow became the standard for variable flow installations because it tolerates exactly the condition inside a residential drain, water that starts and stops with every use. In 1966, British economist E.F. Schumacher founded the Intermediate Technology Development Group. His 1973 book, Small is Beautiful, argued that small-scale technology could transform developing economies without centralized infrastructure. His organization, now called Practical Action, deployed pico hydro turbines under 5 kilowatts across rural Nepal, Peru, Sri Lanka, and Kenya throughout the 1980s and 1990s. In Nepal alone, these turbines brought first-time electricity to hundreds of villages. A single unit producing 200 watts can electrify an entire household. Then in 2015, a groundbreaking company called Lucid Energy proved what was possible. They partnered with the city of Portland to install their Lucid Pipe power system right inside a massive 42-inch gravity-fed water main. 4 sophisticated turbines sat inside the pipe, capturing the excess force of water rushing down to consumers and generating up to 1,100 megawatt-hours of clean energy per year. It was proof of concept that the energy inside our pressurized municipal pipes is immense, and instead of letting it vanish at city pressure valves, we can capture it. The physics is proven. The history spans 2,000 years. A company in Portland proved it works at city scale inside municipal pipes. So the question becomes unavoidable. Why has no version of this ever appeared in a single American residential building code? The answer is not a dramatic conspiracy. It is something quieter and far more effective. It is an absence. Open the International Residential Code. Open the Uniform Plumbing Code. These 2 model codes govern how every home in America gets built. Search for inline hydroelectric generation. Search for pipe-mounted turbines. You will find nothing. Not a prohibition, a void. No section addresses it. No inspector has a checkbox for it. When something does not exist in the code, it cannot be permitted. When it cannot be permitted, no licensed contractor will touch it. The effect is identical to a ban, without anyone ever writing one. The Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act, signed in 1978 under President Jimmy Carter, was supposed to change this. That law required utilities to purchase power from small, independent generators. But state-by-state implementation created a maze of interconnection fees, engineering studies, insurance mandates, and minimum generation thresholds that priced micro-generators out entirely. Picture a homeowner at a county permitting office holding a system that costs $200 being told the application fee alone is $350. That is not an oversight. That is architecture. The American electric utility industry generated approximately $491 billion in 2023, according to the Energy Information Administration. That revenue depends on one model. Plants generate, wires carry, meters count, families pay. Every kilowatt hour a homeowner produces from water flowing through their own pipes never crosses the meter. Net metering was designed for solar panels producing kilowatts, not for pico hydro producing single-digit watts. The forms and fees are scaled for equipment costing thousands. A $15 PVC turbine falls through the floor of a system built to count large numbers. Now picture the pressure-reducing valve in your basement. Every municipal water system uses them. A brass fitting tasked with choking back massive municipal water pressure down to a safe level so it does not blow out your kitchen faucet. Right there in that little valve, a silent battle of physics is happening. Kinetic energy is being throttled and dissolved away into the water stream. That lost pressure is the exact hidden gold mine. Our turbine is designed to intercept and transform into power. Now, if you do not own land, if you are not off-grid, if you are sitting in a suburban house or an apartment right now, stay with me, because what comes next works in any home, costs under $300, and requires 0 permits in most jurisdictions. This part was built specifically for you. Here is the number I promised at the beginning of this video. The average American household uses approximately 82 gallons per person per day, according to the United States Geological Survey. A family of 4 pushes roughly 328 gallons through their pipes daily. In a 2-story home, drain water falls about 10 feet from fixture to sewer exit. Supply water enters under 40 to 60 pounds per square inch of municipal pressure. Run those numbers through the standard hydroelectric power formula. A supply line turbine capturing a fraction of inlet pressure generates 3 to 8 watts of continuous power during any water use. Drain turbines across the shower, sinks, and washing machine add 2 to 5 watts during active flow. The average household runs water 60 to 90 minutes per day across all fixtures combined. Conservative total for a 4-person household running a network of Pico hydro turbines on supply and drain lines, 75 to 150 watt-hours per day, 27 to 55 kilowatt-hours per year. That sounds small. Here is where it stops sounding small. Total materials for a full household Pico hydro network cost $150 to $300. Because the generation relies on rugged, brushless mechanical turbines housed in durable PVC, the power capture hardware itself faces virtually zero capacity fade and can harvest energy indefinitely. By running this raw power into an affordable deep cycle battery bank, you establish a reliable, self-sustaining loop that keeps your household essential devices topped off on demand. Over a 20-year horizon, this simple mechanical network can reliably deliver hundreds of kilowatt-hours of decentralized energy. When compared to the rising retail rates your utility company charges for every single unit of power crossing your meter, generating your own localized power right at the point of use completely flips the economics in your favor. Now, to unlock the true power of this system, you couple it with a gravity-fed rainwater storage setup. By collecting that rainfall at roof height and routing a high-velocity, controlled release down a 2-story drop, you maximize the kinetic force hitting your Pelton turbine. This turns a simple downspout into a dedicated seasonal powerhouse that boosts your total annual output, giving you free, reliable off-grid electricity every single time it rains. That is the number. That is why no one in the utility industry wants you running this calculation. Here is how you build it. Each turbine line needs a PVC T-fitting matching your pipe diameter at roughly $5. A brushless direct current motor, such as a NEMA 17 stepper, runs $8 to $12 from any electronic supplier. A turbine runner printed on a consumer 3D printer costs about $2 in filament, or it can be carved from a plastic cutting board. A stainless steel shaft and small bearings run $3 to $5. Marine-grade silicone handles waterproof sealing. Total per turbine, $15 to $35. For the full household system, add 4 to 6 drain turbines, a PWM charge controller at $15 to $25, a 12-volt deep cycle battery at $40 to $80, rectifier diodes and wiring at $5 to $10, and 12-volt LED strips or USB outlets at $10 to $20. Full network cost, $150 to $300. Installation is straightforward. Cut into each accessible supply or gray water line at its most vertical section. Install the PVC-T with a clean-out cap. Mount the turbine runner inside on a shaft that passes through a sealed bearing in the pipe wall. Attach the motor externally in a waterproof housing. Wire all generators in parallel through rectifier diodes to the charge controller and battery. Test each unit by running water and reading voltage on a multimeter. 3 safety points you cannot skip. Every metal component touching water must be bonded and grounded per the National Electrical Code. To keep the system completely safe and elegant, focus your turbine network primarily on clean water supply lines and gray water drainage lines, like your washing machine or shower runoff. By engineering your turbine runners to sit perfectly in line within a secondary vertical branch or a clean-out offshoot, you capture the rushing energy of the water while ensuring the main drainage pathway remains 100% clear and unobstructed. 2 notes worth remembering: output scales with usage. One person generates roughly a quarter of what a family of 4 produces. If you add a downspout turbine, your numbers shift with rainfall. Dry climates see less. The Pacific Northwest and the Southeast see the most. The water is already moving. Every handle you turn, every button you press, right now that motion hits a trap and dies. A $15 turbine catches it. Not enough to leave the grid, but enough to prove that the water in your house has been making free electricity your entire life and nobody told you. If this changed how you think about the water in your walls, I want to know one thing. What is the vertical distance in feet from your second floor bathroom to the point where your main drain exits your foundation? That single number tells me if your house is a candidate. Drop it in the comments. I will read every one. Subscribe to Off-Grid Ohms with Oliver and watch the next video appearing on your screen right now.